And just like that, game five is in the books, a game where OKC won 127 to 114 in a game that I can only describe in one word, and that would be drama. Of course, we must start with the end of the third quarter and the controversial calls, starting with the goaltend with Case and Wallace and Luke Cornett, which was an obvious miscall. And then on the other possession, the out of bounds call with Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama when the ball went off on Chet Holmgren and Mitch Johnson was he waved his finger looking for the challenge after a little bit. And the play continued, possession continued, and he was freaking out. He was upset about it. Uh, and then he received a tech for complaining about the call. Um, there's been a lot of speculation on this, a lot of people saying the NBA needs to investigate this. The main rebuttal I've seen was the fact that you need to call a timeout before waving your finger. Um, Usually, I don't see the coach call a timeout. Usually, it's just the finger wave and it gets called. So we don't know exactly what happened. So pointing fingers right now is just all guessing. All we have is speculation. Mitch Johnson didn't talk too much about it. Uh, Post game, Stefan Castle was talking a little bit about the reffing in post game. Though he said he was speaking on how he feels like OKC gets away with a lot more contact, that San Antonio can't get away with. So the drama with the refs, obviously Tony Brothers on the call today, uh, was obvious. Once again, there's no right or wrong answer. I mean, the rule book does state you need to call a timeout before, but once again, you know, not every time they do follow those rules. But this was a very impressive game, especially from Shai. It felt like a statement. It felt like one of those moments we've seen stars over the years with backs against the walls, and these are the kind of games where stars become superstars, and that's what Shai did today. In a series where he's really struggled, he showed up today after having what he described in the post-game interview as the worst start of his career. Uh, he got that first three-pointer to go, and then it was off from there. San Antonio was playing very physical with him down the paint, allowed him to get to the line a lot. A lot of those mid-range shots were going today. He was also used as a playmaker toward the end. He had 9 assists again, so his playmaking responsibilities have just gone up in the postseason, which was great to see. Another great game from Alex Caruso. He gave you 22 off the bench on 5 for 10 shooting. Jared McCain stepped up in the second half after struggling a lot and helped them toward the end, as I think it was Alex Caruso who also hit a three at the end of the game to basically seal it. End of the game, more drama happened when the starters all checked out with 2 something to go. Starters all check out. Bismack Biyombo and Plumlee comes in, and then Plumlee kind of like trucks Jared McCain, who was still in the game. And a lot of people I saw online saying Wemby whispered something to him, which I think is ridiculous. Which everyone who's seen Wemby's character know that's very out of character for him. But there's no doubt that the physicality was there all game. Speaking of Wembanyama, he was the biggest story of this game, and not in the way that you'd expect. Wembanyama had 20 points today on 415 shooting and 0 for 5 from 3, and that's what really stuck out is he almost looked tired all game. He really couldn't get to the paint. Jalen Williams and Isaiah Hartenstein were playing very physical on him in the perimeter and just wanted to keep him there. And that's what really happened, and that's why OKC also won the rebound battle. Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein, who were both starting, both finished with double-digit rebounds, with Wembanyama only finishing with 6. So I expect that to change. I expect Wemby to be more energized for Game 6, but that was really disappointing to see, honestly, in a game like this. It's a new series, 2-2 series, and to take advantage, to have the lead for the first time in the series, or well, not they took game one, but to have the lead in the series this late, and they just couldn't pull it out. Wembanyama, once again, his effort was just not there. Um, De'Aaron Fox also struggled 4-15 from the field. And I saw a stat, and it was crazy to put this together. But between Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, and Devin Vassell, who also struggled today, they shot 10 for 41 combined. Just abysmal performance from the three. There were standouts from the game. Julian Champagnie was a real standout from this game as he struggled in the first three, but he finally got his shot to go today, shooting 8 for 15, and all for nothing as San Antonio couldn't pull this one out once again. Stefan Castle had a good game. He had 24 points, even though he was an unnecessary foul trouble. He had 5 fouls in the beginning of the fourth quarter, and he was able to complete the game, but it was still disappointing to see him in foul trouble, which was completely avoidable. There were a lot of calls, like there was an inbound with Shai where he just came at him and kind of tugged his jersey, and and he fell, and it was a foul. There was just a lot of calls like that today where Stefan Castle, who was in foul trouble in game four, in foul trouble once again, but he was overall positive still. Keldon Johnson off the bench. Uh, he gave you what was it? Was it? Yeah, he gave you 15 points in 20 minutes. Another good game off the bench for him. He was good on both ends today, but I just keep on coming back to OKC and what this game felt like for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It really felt like a statement. This is a series where doesn't overall obviously determine the future face of the NBA, but these guys feel like they're the next faces of the NBA. And to see them go at it in a playoff series like this, in Shai to finally, get that upper hand, just it was great for the competitiveness of the NBA. San Antonio does feel a year early, so OKC feeling a little bit more desperate. I feel like uh, their whole contract situation also makes them more desperate as they might lose some role players this offseason with Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren's contract extensions kicking in. So this really felt like a game, one of those legacy games for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander that will be used forever. Um, I think he's already an all-time great player, and especially if he wins ring number 2, I don't think there's really any doubt from anybody. He starts to enter those uncomfortable top 20, top 15 discussions. So overall, once again, a huge game from Shai, especially when you include the fact that Jalen Williams was out, their probably second option or third option on this team. For Shai to come through with AJ Mitchell also out and be able to take over this game, just so important for his legacy and was just a great viewing experience. So yeah, we'll see if things change in Game 6 back in San Antonio. Hope their energy's back up. Hope Wemby's back to being aggressive in the paint, and yeah, that's about it.